This is Honey Badger Nation,
where real estate agents from around the globe come together
to grow, collaborate,
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires
and put them together and make one big fire.
This is the Honey Badger Nation.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Hive. I have Andre with me today from Georgia. He is going to tell us a little bit about his story with EXP, how he came to it, and what they're doing and where they're going. Super exciting because I guess when you look at things, I may not be with EXP if it hadn't been for Andre, because he introduced somebody who introduced somebody who introduced me. So kind of, crazy to think that somebody in a different country could be, partial to your forward success, or I don't even know how to say that, but it's cool. And I love being able to connect with people around the world, and we're, essentially all part of this one big fire. So I'm super excited to have Andre on. He's an inspiration to me. He's always helping me and giving me tidbits of great advice. So welcome, Andre.
Thanks, Michelle. Pleasure to be here with you. Thanks for the invitation.
For sure. So I guess maybe we can just get into your career path and what brought you maybe to real estate, and then what got you here.
Yeah, not a problem. I've been in real estate 30 years. In my 30th year, jumped in when in my 20s. Like a lot of agents, started off kind of part-time. Actually, I was really full-time. I was putting the hours in, but I worked a full-time job at the same time at a pharmaceutical plant. But I worked on the night shift, so I could sell real estate all week, and then I would run into the plant for 4 o'clock. I just knew it was going to take some time. I got my license and that job, which was actually like the biggest blue collar job in my area. And I knew it was going to take a little bit of time as a brand new agent, 20 years old, to be able to get into the real estate industry. So I kind of did both for 9 years actually, but it took me 7 years to get from 0 transactions to 40 with no help, just no admin, just putting the time and effort in. And but then I invested into myself and invested into some coaching, some really good high level coaching, and started taking advantage of that and started building a team. I ended up my coach told me to hire an administrative person and a buyer agent. And of course, we don't always listen to our coaches, right? Even though we're paying them all this money, sometimes we just don't. I wasn't entrepreneurial minded back then, so I at least got the buyer agent because I figured, well, that didn't cost me anything, and I give her the buyers and I took care of the listings. And but by doing that, my next year took me 7 years to get from 0 to 40 transactions, and with that buyer agent went to 79 units. And then the next year finally got the admin and did 109 transactions that year, and then it just kind of continued to grow. In hindsight, if I would have did what my coach said, I could have went from 40 to 109. But we all learn, right? Well, within a year and a half of that coaching, then I ended up leaving the blue collar position in 2000 and partnered up with my broker and started started a separate little office, and it was great. We between myself and my business partner and our couple little teams, we're doing about 300 units a year consistently for many years. And it was all good, but one day the coaching company that helped us grow our business actually offered me a position to work with them in their coaching department, and they're based out of Metro Atlanta. So that was my opportunity to get out of the high taxes and the cold weather in New York and move south. And it worked out really well. I love it here in Georgia. And my partner took over my team, and he's still rocking, selling hundreds of homes up there in New York without us. And I moved to Georgia in 2009. And I helped that coaching company. They had about 100 members, all paying them between 10 to 30 grand a year to help agents grow their businesses. And I helped them grow that business to 498, just under 500 agents over the years. And it was all good. I planned on retiring from that company. I was 48 years old, I think, at the time. And but they made a little change, kind of a big change, that affected my income. So maybe I should look around. So I started looking at possibly getting my real estate license and getting into real estate again, because I hadn't sold a house in 9 years. I was a coach. I wasn't planning on selling again. But that's all I've ever done is being in the real estate industry. So at like 48 years old, I had to re-get my license over in Georgia because I let my New York license go. And I started looking at the different models, and I in the coaching industry, we helped agents. Didn't matter if they were at Keller Williams or Remax or an independent. We didn't really care where they were. Our job was to help them build their business. And I really didn't hear much about EXP back then. I might have heard the name, but knew nothing about it. But when I started wanting to start looking at different models to get back into real estate, I of course looked into it, and I didn't have to look any farther, because once you do the math and you understand why they're calling us the Amazon of real estate, it didn't take long at all to figure it'd be a really good fit for me. So I got my real estate license and joined EXP in February of middle of January, end of January, 2019. And been, selling a handful of homes and really helping to grow my team. I really love growing businesses and growing teams and helping people build their businesses. So I am more focused on helping you and Pierre and our entire group grow. And it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what I love about it too, is we're very similar in personalities, in the sense that I don't get me wrong, I absolutely love selling homes, but I also get a lot of joy out of seeing, a new agent, grow and prosper and become, the person that they were, admiring to become. So
right.
It's nice to have the opportunity to be a mentor and to kind of be in control of your organization, because we're all owners. And that's, something that I really loved about the business model was I always, aspired to have my own office, and I was with a previous brokerage where I could have had an opportunity to open up a franchise. And so that was kind of my big goal. And then when you look at, the financial commitment to opening a franchise and then, all that stuff, I was like, I can't afford to do that. I have 2 small kids.
Right.
So
you get the best of both worlds, right? I mean, you really are able to open up your own business within the business. And in Canada, the investment's a whole $199, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's oh my.
In the US, it's only $149 US. So
it's a very, very minuscule, cost to have an opportunity to open up basically your own organization and to grow something and especially here in Canada, I know that EXP has grown exponentially, obviously on a global level right now. We're smashing records, which is amazing. But here in Canada, even we're kind of brand new, but we are growing faster than anybody ever thought we would. So it's kind of nice to be part of the beginning stages of what this is going to be. And it's exciting.
Yeah, huge opportunity. When I first joined February 2019, there was 350 agents in the country of Canada that was in EXP.
Wow.
There was about 15 or 16,000 agents total and 350 in Canada.
Wow.
And so I've been in the company now 3 years. It was 3 years for my anniversary for February 1st. I have almost 400 people in Canada just in my group now.
Oh, that's crazy. How many do you have in your organization?
As of, I haven't looked today, but yesterday was 692.
Wow. And it's so cool for me because I was a year on the 18th of February. So I don't know where you were at a year ago, but I know that you weren't at 700.
Well, I have my wealth chart on my wall over here. My first year, I like to share it with people because when I left the coaching company, I knew I was starting over again. Hadn't sold a house, like I said, in 9 years. So I was starting from scratch. So I knew it was going to take a minute to get some business going here locally and start selling, a handful of homes. So I actually called a friend of mine from Tennessee that had his own real estate company with 20 some agents. And I said, hey, I'm leaving the coaching company, going to get my real estate license here in Georgia, but kind of need a salary to kind of get things going. Would you hire me and pay me a salary, and I'll be an inside sales agent, just calling your leads for you for some of your agents? And he loved that idea. And he knew it was going to be just, temporary until I got things rolling. So I was doing that for him from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I was working full-time 9 to 5 for him, and starting to get my real estate business going, selling a handful of, a few homes, and then starting to share the opportunity with agents. And because the way it works, when someone has questions to answer, we're new, we can't answer them ourselves. We call one of our senior business partners. So I was calling Jay Kinder and Al Stasic, our business partners, and they would answer the questions and help us grow our business. And I was doing that a bunch, that they offered me a position to work for them as their inside sales agent, and gave me, even more income. So it was kind of nice. Plus I'd be within the EXP model, working with them instead of somebody outside the company. So I took them up on that opportunity about 6 months in. So I worked for my friend for 6 months, and then I started working for them with the idea of, once I got to a certain level, I would just go on my own. And I explain that to people because other agents to me, and I'm too busy selling houses. I don't have time to be sharing this opportunity with people or anything. Well, I was working 9 to 5, just like, and you guys are probably working, just as much. But it's in between times, right? It's, hey, you're already talking to a real estate agent, about a transaction or doing a deal, or you're at a networking party. We're interacting with people, real estate people, all the time, and it's just a matter of getting to know them, asking them, what's working for them, and then of course they ask you, what do you love about your company, and then you can just share a little bit of information. So it's just an ongoing thing, like we've always done. But at this model, we really get paid really, really well for it. So in my first, as far as growing my global team, I joined, like I said, in February. It was, I think, May when my first person joined me. He was actually in California. And then he sold the house the next month, and I made like $408. So I said, oh, that's cool. And the next month I didn't make anything on revenue share because I only had one person and he didn't sell anything. But the next month he sold 3 properties, and I made like another $800 and some dollars. So with one friend that I did him a favor, and now he's getting stock in the company and getting ownership and and the coaching and training and things that he didn't have at his other company. I did him a big favor by sharing the opportunity with him, and the company keeps paying me back over and over again. And then the next 3 months, I just shared it with 2 more people. Pierre Nadeau, the person I think that you're connected with.
Yep.
And so he was my first Canadian that I shared this with, that joined us. And that was a big deal because he was an independent broker owner of his own independent company, had his best year ever, selling like 250 some homes with him and his 13 agents. And when I shared this with him at first, he's like, hey, this looked great, but I got my own independent company. Why would I, make a change? But he's a smart guy, and he knew it was good. And at least he needs to figure out, hey, what's my competition going to be when this really comes to Canada? Because it was relatively new. So he started doing his due diligence to kind of poke holes in it and figure out why, it's not going to be any good. He even called Rico to find out if it was legal.
Yeah, I do remember him telling me that, because I was like, because I talked to Pierre too, and he's like, look, I took this to Rico. I wanted to make sure this was all legitimate because it sounded way too good to be true.
Yeah. But it didn't take him long. It was a couple of months of doing due diligence, and then he brought his entire organization over with him and the 13 agents. And then what really warms my heart is to hear the stories and to get the text from him. Got one on his 2-year anniversary there 5-6 months ago, telling me, giving his numbers and just thanking me for that phone call and for helping him to really do his due diligence, because he's 4 times his net income in his first 2 years. And his team that was 13, As of a few weeks ago, I heard he's at about 40 agents on his team. And he was on a Zoom training call that we had earlier today, saying they're almost going to hit 400 people in his organization globally.
Wow.
Hence why I have almost 400 people in Canada, right?
Right.
So when we're able to help broker owners and agents do things like that, that's why I get up in the morning and continue to share the opportunity, because it's been a game changer for a lot of people. And I'm just super excited about it. We're in, as of yesterday, someone joined from Delaware, so that opened up another state. I'm in 30 states now, 4 provinces of Canada, India, and Mexico. And I've only personally, and that's just it, my first year, I told you I only had 3 people in the first 6 or 7 months. But as people do their due diligence and timing is good, and you follow up, they start coming when the time is right. So my first year, I only sponsored 13 agents total. So most of those in the last, several months, and look at my wealth chart, turned to 37 agents total in the organization that first year. So that's not a big deal. But by the second year, looking at my wealth chart, I had 35 people on my first level. So maybe that's about 2 a month, give or take. But my total went to 281. And then as of February 1st, my third full year, I only had 41 personals. So that means I only attracted 6 agents in a complete year. So if someone says, well, you're a recruiting company, I'd probably get fired if I was getting paid to be a recruiter, right? I only brought in 6 agents in 12 months. But the beauty of the model is the 281 total that I had helped me bring in 669.
Right.
Right. And then just in February 1st till today, it's grown to 669 to the 692 or whatever.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, because of one decision you made, 692 people have, essentially had their lives altered in some way because of a decision that you made, which for me, that's a warm and fuzzy, because I look at this opportunity as like a golden opportunity. And it's funny because I had no interest whatsoever in switching brokerages. There was no, I was the most loyal. I'm surprised I did not get it tattooed on my body somewhere. Like, I'm very surprised, because I was, the most loyal person there could be in that office.
And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for good, happy, loyal people. But when you're looking at a business opportunity, yes, you love where you are, you love your broker, but do you love them more than your own personal family?
And
it's a business decision. It's not, a heart decision. It's a business decision, right? And people need to really look at it that way, because when they actually do the math and do the numbers, just think about, even how you've grown your business since you've been within the company, and the milestones that you've hit, starting a team. And I know you have, a good organization started that you're getting revenue share from, and you got stock ownership. You didn't have stock ownership in the last company that you were at. You were only getting the income from your own personal deals, right? Your mindset was, on that active income.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have any passive income. And now you've leveraged, because of this network and this model, you've been able to not only help your friends become owners and have stock and all that themselves, and extra training and health insurance, and the list goes on, but you've helped your family, because now you have revenue share, passive income coming in that you never had before. And that's a big deal.
Yeah. And that was the thing. Like, when I was experiencing some pain points at the time, and I was not necessarily agreeing with some of the decisions that were being made in the office. And so I was kind of giving a little bit of pushback, because there was my beliefs and there was the other people's beliefs, and we were not really jiving, and to each their own. We're all, we can all have our own opinions and that kind of thing. But So I was talking to my business coach about it, and I was, venting a little bit about how I was feeling. And thank you, David Junker. He kind of brought to light to, would you consider looking at other brokerages? And the first things out of my mouth were absolutely not, like never. And he said, well, this is why you've hired me to be your coach. Like, why don't you just look into other opportunities that are available to you? He mentioned EXP as one of them. And, it was, one Michelle Kennelly came to mind because I knew that she had joined EXP. I knew nothing about it. All I knew is that Michelle and I went to high school together, and that I had tried to get her over to my previous brokerage. And yeah, so I reached out to her and got a little bit of information. And it's nice to, when I look back, I go like, man, I'm so glad I was open to at least hearing what she had to say, because normally I wouldn't have. So had I not had my coach, I probably would still be where I was. So I was happy to, get all the information from her. And then she's like, if you have any other questions, you can talk to Pierre if you want a second opinion or, somebody else's viewpoint. And I thought, well, yeah, I need somebody else's viewpoint, because that sounds like I'm missing something, or it sounds way too good to be true. Right. So, talk to Pierre, and I was sold, and I did this all within like a 24-hour period. And wow. So I decided that I think in my heart knew before my head knew. And within 48 hours, I had made the decision that I was making the move. And I honestly didn't even look at other brokerage options, because I was just like, you know what? No other brokerage can offer these things. And even when I was looking at from a financial standpoint, just the splits alone with a cap, I didn't even know what a cap was. I had to wrap my head. I had to really get that explained to me. Like, what is a cap? I don't understand that, because you didn't have a cap at the old brokerage, right? You were continuing paying no matter what level that you got at. Yeah. And so, I thought, the 90-10 was a great split, and that's amazing. And when you look at that, and like with Exit, it was 70-30, and then you hit 100,000 gross, and then you go to 90-10. Well, I thought that was the cat's meow. Like, I thought, right, that's amazing. But it's funny, because I just got my tax information because I joined EXP last February. So I did, I think, 6 or 9 transactions with Exit last year before my transition. And what I'm looking at for the splits and all the fees and everything like that, I was just like, I'm mortified looking at them, going like, how did I not see that there was other opportunities out there? Like, I was sort of blindsided, I guess, to believing that I had the best of the best. But as I'm looking at this tax form and showing me what I paid Exit, what I paid myself, and I'm like, had I been with EXP, that would have been capped at 16,000. I would have actually put an additional X amount in my pocket. That could have been, a brand new kitchen and probably the rest of the renovations that my whole house needs. So it's, I feel very fortunate that I was at least open to receiving the information, because EXP is not going to be for everybody. And I get that. I respect that. I understand that totally. But like you said, timing is everything for some people, right? Mm-hmm. So it could be not right now, but in a couple of years, when you don't want to sell as many houses and you have a large team, but you want to reap the benefits of the team that you've spent 20 years building. Well, that could be a very financially rewarding decision for your future, and I guess even for your kids' future, because it gets willed to them, right? That's right. Yeah. If the good Lord took me home tomorrow, my wife or kids or whoever that you want to will it to, they have 12 months to get their license if they don't have it. Join EXP. They don't have to sell a house, but they're able to, as long as they have their license, because that is commission income, they're able to reap that revenue share that's coming in. And I want to say congratulations to you, Michelle. Wow, 48 hours, you made that decision, coming from no way
not interested, never going to leave
Yeah.
in 48 hours to make a decision. That was obviously pretty impactful. But congratulations for just being open-minded enough and taking your coach's advice and looking at that, because look at the people that you've impacted and the people that are now on your team, and you're getting those same, thank yous and texts saying, man, I just hit, I capped, now I'm at 100%. I never was at 100%. I thought, like you said, 10% was the cat's meow, but in certain people's price ranges, it can be only a handful of homes, and they're at 100% for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, that's what I love about it. And the fact too is, I mean, yes, I capped fairly early because I had a really great start to last year, and I have another great start going now. But I capped very quickly, and so 100% commission, that is friggin' phenomenal. And when you're looking at, at the beginning, I was sold on EXP. I knew it. But at the same time, my old brokerage wasn't completely gone out of my mind. So every time I would get a paycheck, I would go, okay, so this is sweet. But if I would have still been at exit, I only would have gotten X. This is crazy. I probably did that for the first like 10 or 15 checks, going like, this is friggin' sweet. And so that was a big thing for me to, process it and go like, it was just validation that, okay,
Right.
I did totally make the right
decision. Yeah.
And so not only did I cap, but I iconed in December. So that $16,000 cap that, I paid EXP, I get to get that back in stock. Right. So, I mean, essentially
the entire 16 grand that you paid into the company, I want to make sure people who are listening really understand that the 16 grand that you paid into the company on your percentage, because you icon, which is capping and selling another sell, buy, or lease another 20 properties, you got the entire 16 grand back in EXP stock. Now, when I joined 3 years ago, the stock was $8.15. And last I looked, earlier, was about $25 per share. And what I tell people is go to Google EXPI stock and look at the last 5 years. And it goes up and down like all stocks do. But about 6 months ago, you'll see this big drop. Well, that big drop was the 2-for-1 stock split, because the price was going up so high. The company wanted to bring it down for investors. So we had a 2-for-1 stock split. So for me, all that stock that I got that was at $8-9 a share, when I see it today at 25, it's really worth 50, because I got twice as much stock on that stock split.
Right.
So really, for top producing agents like yourself that sell 25, 30 homes a year, and get that Icon Agent Award, and in some markets even less than that in units, the EXPs are almost really paying you to be here.
Yeah, like it's, and I mean, they are truly agent centric, whereas, other brokerages claim to be that way as well. But when you look at, they say this is a pyramid scheme. Well, it's actually the opposite. Like, it's completely the opposite, and where the agents are at the top, and, we're the ones that are growing the company and being, financially rewarded for it. They just want to see everybody succeed. And that's what I love about this company, is they truly care. The amount of coaching that I've got, like, I mean, I invested in coaching a long time ago. And obviously I found great value in that. But for new agents, say, coming onto the team who are brand new, who can't afford to invest thousands of dollars a month in coaching, they have that here. And that's what I love, is when I think back to like, oh, I wonder, not to say that, I'm not grateful for my journey, but when you think about it, like, if I was starting out as a brand new agent with EXP, with all of the coaching and all of the resources available to me, you're set right out of the gate. You're not waiting 7 years like you had to get up to that, point of selling 40 homes a year. It takes a long time as a new agent to get your reputation, sculpted, and, get well versed in the business itself, and get, trust, people getting to trust you, and that kind of thing. When you have what we have to offer, even as just a honey badger on its own, just the people in our organization are just
Second to none.
geniuses when it comes to business and real estate. And
Well, like I said, it took me 7 years to get from 0 to 40 units a year. I invested in coaching as people that were at a higher level than me to share with me how to build a business and market to build a real estate business. And, you know, going from 40 to 79 units to 109 units in just 2 years. Now, so I think back if EXP was around when we got started, 30 years ago, of course, it was a different time, but someone new coming in now in the industry with not only the coaching that EXP offers, but then we have all the coaching and training that our group offers on top of all that, all at no cost, right?
Right.
But then EXP also gives us the KV Core lead generation system that's like $700 US, and SkySlope transaction system that's like $300 US. So those two systems itself for technology, you'd pay $1,000 a month. Like I had a system called Top Producer back when I was in New York, and we were paying monthly for that. And in my opinion, KV Core is even better, and that's all included in that little
I think it's 150. Yeah, I think it's like $157. I think a month for our fee, if you want to call it even a fee.
Oh,
which includes all of that stuff, right?
Actually, it's a little bit less. In the US, it's $85 a month, and in Canada, I believe it's
130 something,
129 or 139.
Yeah,
I think it's 129.
Yeah.
So for under $130 Canadian, you have access to $1,000 worth of technology.
Yeah,
as a brand new agent, get right out of the gate.
And I even I don't know. I mean, all brokerages are different, but I got an email from head office yesterday saying, we got a call from so-and-so, they'd like to go and look at this house. So, I mean, there's even leads coming through EXP that were, rotating on a roster as well. So for those who are like, we get a lot of duty calls and a lot of stuff like that. Well, we get duty calls too. Like that's the great thing about it is EXP's got so many great technologies set up for success that like we're racking in great people, great leads. Like KV Core is amazing. KV Core actually is a little bit over my head in the sense of like what it is capable of. It's amazing, but it's capable of so much. So anybody who's techie, like I have a couple of people on our team that are very techie, and that were, this was like almost like a deal maker for some of them, because they're like, wow, this system does like some phenomenal stuff. And there's different things that KV Core is capable of that I used to pay additional for when I was with my other brokerage, like being able to mass text and landing pages and squeeze pages and Facebook ads and all that stuff. I think I've run 12 or 13 ads through KV Core, and I've got probably close to 1,000 leads from it.
Wow.
Which is
and there's tons of ways that you can get leads at absolutely no cost either, right? I mean, I did my very first Facebook Live ever a few years ago on my first listing that I got in Georgia after I got my license. It was friends of mine from church, and they were downsizing, so I listed her property, and I did a Facebook Live, just sharing, letting people know, hey, this is a property coming on soon next week. Want to get it out there, and if you have any buyers interested in this market or this school district, here, let's check out this house. And I just did a tour of the house on the Facebook Live, and then when I got done, I just clicked the button to upload it or save it or whatever. And because EXP gives us a publicly facing website, we get a website that's set up through IDX and through MLS, so all the listings are in there, and that's connected to the KV Core, that's connected to our Facebook page. I got 10 free leads of buyers looking in that marketplace, and it cost me $0.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways that you can get free leads without spending any money using the system, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. What else we've talked about a lot, actually. So with your organization, you're at 692 people. What is your goal for the end of the year?
Well, by the end of this year, we should be, no question, at 1,200.
Wow.
And possibly 1,500 by the end of the year. It's funny because my goal when I first joined was I had a 5-year goal to share this with just 2 people a year. If I could share it with 2 capping agents, someone like yourself, 2 people a year, and do that for 5 years, I would have 10 agents on my first level. And my goal was that we always want to help. Everyone has a couple of real estate friends, and you want to help them share this with at least 2 of their friends. So my goal was to share with my 2 friends, and then those 2 people, their 2 friends. So I would really be working with like 6 people a year. But if you do that consistently for 5 years, and they're all capping agents, that actually pays $348,000 a year. And when I did the math on that, it's like, wow, that's kind of a game changer.
That's a game changer. Some people don't even make that with their real estate income.
Yeah. So that was my goal to do within a 5-year period. And realistically, we hit that in 2.5 years because of the network and how it really works. So yeah, it's a big deal.
That's awesome. So at the end of the year, when we revisit this, we'll do another call and
we can find out where we're at.
I love seeing people's progress because I mean, even my 5-year goal is 1,000 agents. So I don't know. You haven't even been 5 years, and you're gonna surpass 1,000, right? So.
Well, yeah, I should definitely hit. I mean, I'd be disappointed if we didn't hit 1,200 by the end of the year, because we're doubling every year pretty easily. Right. So, I mean, just in 2 weeks, we jumped from 669 to the 692 just in 2 weeks, right? Wow. So it's just a matter of timing. And it'll just it just kind of takes a mind of itself. It takes a little bit of time to get it rolling. Like I said, you heard my numbers, but hey, we're going to be selling real estate anyway. We're going to be doing this for 5 years, 10 years, maybe 20 years. Some people, you're going to be doing it anyway. You're going to be selling houses. You're going to be sharing this with telling a few of your friends that might want to get into real estate. They're going to ask you how you like it at your company, right? You're going to attract agents. You're going to build a team and bring people to your company. Why not be an owner? I believe that if you're going to put the time and effort into growing a business, why not be an owner if that's an opportunity? Yeah, and that is here. Mm-hmm. And I believe when you surround yourself with other like-minded people that are at a higher level than you, they bring you up, right? The people that you surround yourself with, you're going to become like. And in our group, we have tons of people doing, hundreds and hundreds of transactions, and they pull you up. And because of the network and how we're all financially aligned together, we want to help. It's not like, Michelle, if you call me and you text me and ask me for help, I'm happy to help you because I'm going to help you grow your business, and the company's going to reward me for that.
Financially, we're all financially aligned and invested in each other, right? So that's what makes us different than other companies is even with my previous company, on a single level residual program, I mean, yeah, that's amazing. And of course, but you have no vested interest in anybody that they want to, help bring into the company. But we're 7 levels deep into that. Nobody in the industry can look at that and beat it unless they alter their what do you call it?
Yeah, their compensation plan. I mean, we did copy the Keller Williams compensation plan of the 7 levels, and they're the big company out there to beat. So their 7-level compensation plan wasn't copywritten, so we actually copied it because it was successful. But the big, huge difference is that we get paid on revenue share off the top, and they get paid off of profit share after expenses off the bottom. Mm-hmm. And it's a huge difference. I got a friend that was in Keller Williams for many years, a top producer, who did attract a lot of agents, and was getting a decent amount of profit share. But he brought in about the same amount of people his first year in EXP, and I believe the number he told me, it was 21 times more. That was his numbers for his organization, but it was 21 times, not percent more, 21 times more in income, the difference of the revenue share compared to profit share.
Yeah, there is a big difference there for sure.
Yeah. And in the other models, you're not getting ownership, right? The only person that's becoming a millionaire or a billionaire is the guys that own it. And within this model, it's a level playing field, and you get compensated for your contributions for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Again, and I'm not by any means bashing Exit Realty whatsoever.
No, good company.
But again, there's regional owners who own that region. You are not going to have an opportunity to own the region, so therefore your opportunity to grow an organization is just not there. And for me, I mean, of course, that was my aspirations. I wanted to have an office, but then, I would have had to figure out with my current broker, who was the owner of the region, how to figure out how could I have some piece of the pie, just a little sliver of the pie, whereas they would still have the majority of the pie. I would just get a little tiny sliver. And with EXP, it's free for all. We are all equal owners, and it's however hard you work is what you're going to reap. So that's what I love. And I think it's a very fair opportunity, as opposed to the first one gets, the early bird gets the worm kind of thing.
Right.
So.
Yeah, what I suggest to anyone out there that's listening, and if anyone's reached out to you to share the opportunity, be like Michelle, just be open-minded. We don't ask anyone ever to leave their company. I don't. I just say I feel obligated to at least give you the information so you can be knowledgeable about what you're saying no to, And
absolutely. Like, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have been open-minded about it a year or two or more sooner, right? Because absolutely. When I look at my other friends and past colleagues, and if I were to show them on paper, like, look, that like you could have put in a brand new kitchen in your house, and you did the exact same thing, except you would have had, $80,000 more in your pocket last year, or $100,000. Would that make a difference in your personal life? Would it make a difference, just in your life in general? Anybody with an extra 100 or 80, or even if it's $25,000, I mean, like, you could buy a new car for that. That could be significant. And when you add it up over the years, that's to me, that's scary. Because when I look back and think, the 6.5 years that I spent there, if I go back and figure out the math, had I been with EXP as opposed to, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars there, right? So the opportunity is here now. So I believe that at least being open to the opportunity, you have nothing to lose. You're not obligated, to make a move, make a decision, but I owe it to you to at least, give you the information, because us all realtors, we work hard, our families sacrifice, our kids sacrifice for us to be able to do this, career. It's a hard career. We work very hard, and we might as well be compensated for our time and efforts. And I do believe that EXP has figured that compensation out and truly understands, what we go through, and just wanted to, give back to us as the agent, which is amazing.
And that's why there's over 1,000 agents a month. I'm sorry, 1,000 agents a week around the country joining the company.
I think we were at 74,000, I believe.
Last I heard was 75,000 just last week. So
okay, so maybe we've surpassed the 75,000, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I think when I first joined EXP last year, I think they had just hit the milestone of 50,000.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
It's pretty phenomenal. We are the future of real estate. We are the Amazon of real estate. I do believe that, and
You just got to look at the industry. I mean, you look at what Uber did to Yellow Cab. I mean, what Netflix did to Blockbuster. I mean, look at Airbnb. I mean, that's a multi-million-dollar company that's 5 years old or something, and they're valued.
I think it's probably worth billions at this point.
Yeah, they're valued so much more than like Hilton that's been around for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the industry and what's happening of cloud-based companies that are taking the business from non-cloud based, and there's really no one can argue that fact. And the good thing, the lucky thing for us real estate agents is it's came to our industry, and it's changing it. So
yeah, definitely. We're definitely ahead of the 8 ball. That's for sure.
Like Pierre's son Pat told Pierre when Pierre was kind of contemplating if he should make the move. Pierre told me that Pat said, "Dad, this is coming. If you like it or not, you can jump on board and ride this train, or you can let it go by. But either way, it's coming."
Yeah, and wish you would have done it 5 years ago when everybody else has already, seen the opportunity.
It's just getting, and again, it's such a huge opportunity. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers. Last I heard, there was about 3,000, maybe 3,500 at the max in the entire country.
Yeah.
And
huge opportunity.
When I started 3 years ago, there was about 16,000 in the States. And now we have a total of 75. Where do you think Canada is going to be, 3 to 5 years from now?
Oh, yes.
And the people that were open enough to take a look at it and it's a good fit and got plugged in now will be thanking you, Michelle, that you called them and you reached out to them. But hopefully anyone listening here, definitely reach out to Michelle and find out a little bit more about it and just do the math. That's all I ask people. Like she said, it's not a great fit for everybody. But when you do the math and look at all the different benefits for 90% or more of the people that sit down and do the due diligence, they figure out that it's a great move. I just had an announcement Zoom earlier today with a guy and his wife that I called 2 years and 1 day from when he joined. So I called him 2 years. It's been about a month. He's been in the company now. So 2 years, a little bit more ago. And he saw it and thought it was, great, but had his own independent company. And he's like, hey, why you don't fix something that's not broke, right? And he never really dove into it and did a lot of due diligence, but he always took my calls and he was always nice. And I was able to get him connected to several people over that last couple years. And I don't have maybe 3-4 hours invested all together, but he came over with his team just a month ago. And now we're going to be in business for the rest of our life. And that's just a warm feeling, knowing that because I reached out and because he was open enough, he never closed the door. And once he finally shared the information, more information with his wife, within a couple of weeks, and they did the math, they came over.
Yeah, and I think too the opportunity, for people that have teams and special financial splits with teams and partners and all that kind of stuff, we can jump on with head office for a financial review to side by side. Let's look at the details. Does this make sense? And I mean, is it an Excel spreadsheet, I imagine? So I mean, it's just factual, right? Put in your numbers. Does this make sense? Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but at least you'll know. At least you don't know until you know. And
That's
that's kind of like my favorite saying now is like,
once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Jay Kinder says. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, Andre, I'm really happy to be in business with you. I feel very blessed to, have you on my side. And thank you for taking the almost hour. It's crazy how fast time goes by. Holy cow. Out of your day to chat with me.
Yeah, my pleasure to be in business with you, Michelle.
Awesome.
We'll look forward to seeing you at the next live event.
Thanks, Andre.
All right. Have a good day.